Good evening, everyone. We're going to call the meeting to order. Please join us in the pledge, and at the end of the pledge, please remain standing for a moment of silence for the passing of Mr. James Villandi, who was an employee of the district. Pledge allegiance to the flag. Thank you. So we're going to start with a memorial resolution for Mr. James Villandi. Whereas Mr. James Villandi served as a staff member of the Tri-Valley Central School District, and whereas Mr. James Villandi exemplified extraordinary commitment to the students of the Tri-Valley Central School District, and whereas Mr. Villandi passed away on February 20th, 2024, be it resolved that the Tri-Valley Central School District extends its thanks to Mr. James Villandi for his service, and be it resolved that the Tri-Valley Central School District extends its sympathy to the family of Mr. James Villandi during this time of mourning. Thank you. Move to item number 2 is correspondence. We don't have any tonight. Moving to item number 3 is public comment session for items that are on tonight's agenda. I don't have anyone signed up. Moving to item number 4, we have presentations and guests, and we have a presentation tonight for the 2023 to 2024 valedictorian and salutatorian, presented by secondary school principal Amanda Eberly.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I'm excited to be here tonight to introduce our salutatorian and our valedictorian. We're super proud of these students, their accomplishments, and what they've succeeded and are planning on doing after they leave here, and Tri-Valley will definitely be well recognized, and they're a good representation of what we're all about here. So I'm going to first start with our salutatorian, and I'm going to call him on up, Scott Cole. So Scott, I'm going to talk about you a little bit, and I know you love that, so you can come on up here and join me. So Scott is finishing up with a weighted GPA of a 99.74 overall. He's currently undecided of where he's going, but he's applied many places and has gotten into every single one. He did make a mention, though, when I was talking to him and interviewing him. He was like, RIT did send me some socks and a paper tiger and a poster, so that was pretty cool. So he's not sure if RIT is where he's going, but the socks definitely helped his decision maybe there. Fortunately, he's not wearing them tonight, but he had them on the other day. He's going to be studying something with accounting or being a lawyer. And what made him really want to go on that venture is Miss Peters' accounting classes. So he took a bunch of those classes, she just started the VITA program. So that is really what made his decision and kind of moving over to accounting. Scott's proudest moment is definitely from Tri-Valley is being the salutatorian. So that was pretty cool. And Scott's a man of few words and many talents. So we're really excited that he got this, and I know he's thrilled to give a speech at the end of this as well. His favorite part of being at Tri-Valley were the people. He feels that it's more together here. It's a tight community, and he made comment that there's not as much bullying and there's genuine kindness throughout the building. So that was one of the things that definitely was one of his favorite parts. One of the things he's most nervous about leaving is just being away from home for an extended period of time. So I told him and encouraged him. I said, it's going to be an exciting moment for you, but of course, there's always going to be that times that you can come back home. Some advice that he would like to give is he says to listen in his classes, listen to what the teachers say, and it becomes pretty easy. It's not as hard when you pay attention. I loved that. Some extracurriculars he's done. He's participated in the National Honor Society and has done multiple food drives through that. So I'm really excited, Scott, to see where you go, and we're super excited to have you here, and we're going to recognize you all the way through and have you at graduation. I'm going to have you still stand up and come on over here. Thanks, Scott. Next, I'm going to be calling up our valedictorian, Miss Abigail Metnich. Abigail is an overall weighted GPA of 100.14. Amazing. Abby is not committed, but she did find out last month that she got into the University of Virginia, which is one of her top contenders. She's looking to pursue astronomy or physics. She kind of got her love for science in 6th grade, and ever since then, this is kind of the pathway that she's gone. She wants to become an astronomer one day or transfer into engineering. Her dream is to work at NASA or become a professor or scientist. Her proudest moment at Tri-Valley is the biggest thing was becoming the valedictorian. She said what kind of made her kind of gravitate towards wanting to do this and make this her goal was her cousin was a salutatorian. And in 10th grade, she kind of talked to her guidance counselor about it and found out that she was second in the class. So that really pushed her to keep going and give herself a chance at making it to the valedictorian. She also made comment that one of her other proudest moments is making it to the sectional championships with soccer. Her favorite part of Tri-Valley are all the teachers. Specifically, she mentioned Miss Keikos, Mr. McAuliffe, Miss Trotty Noren. Everyone here, she says, teaches so well and cares about what you do, and they give it their all. Something that she's most nervous about is leaving her family and her sisters. They've all grown up so close and have always been together, so that's something she's definitely nervous about. Some advice that she'd like to give some students here are to do extracurriculars and to do something outside of school. Don't make school your whole life and have friends and really enjoy yourself. Some extracurriculars that Abby's participated in are soccer, basketball, softball, track, National Honor Society, and yearbook club. I'm going to kind of put a pilot out for Abby's National Honor Society. She's doing the clothing drive for her project, and on April 13th here at the school from 8 to 4, she's doing a collection of clothes that are going to get weighed, and we get a certain amount per pound of clothes that we get donated. And then her goal is to get t-shirts for the National Honor Society to get more students involved. And then while I have you both up here, some things that my last two questions I asked both of them were, what are you most excited about as we approach the end of the year? And they both answered, I think in unison, relaxing. They were ready to relax. And then the other thing that they're excited about is competition night. However, they did win last year, so they're looking for that repeat win. It was pretty surprising that a junior class had won, so they were really excited about that, and they're ready to win again this year. So game on for all the other students. And then I asked them any advice for me. So some of the advice they gave me were some students are going to be mean, but don't let that bother me, and don't be too flexible with the rules. So again, I want to introduce our valedictorian and salutatorian for the class of 2024. Thank you, everyone.
Congratulations. Thank you. Moving to item number 5 is the superintendent's report by Ms. Erin Wong. Sure. Would you both like to come back up and take a picture?
Good evening, everyone. First of all, I want to congratulate Abby and Scott for their academic excellence. Amazing grade point average, both of you. I also want to congratulate our cast, our crew, and our pit band for an outstanding performance last weekend. Both days were absolutely fantastic, and what a showcase of our talent. It was beautiful. I also want to give a little bit of a shout out again to our boys and girls varsity basketball teams. They each hosted a sectional game last week, and again commend them on their never give up attitude and their true sportsmanship on the court. I also want to wish good luck to our indoor track athletes participating in states this weekend. I know the season has been one of many personal bests, and we wish you luck. Our building conditions survey has been completed by our architect, and that was submitted to the state today, and they will be completing a summary for us as a board to look at, to review, and discuss. This weekend, Tri-Valley will be hosting the All-County Music Festival. Performances will be on Saturday at 1:30, 3:30, and 5:30. Two other pieces of information you have in your packet tonight is you have from our strategic planning, Dr. Alioto, you have a summary of our SWOT analysis we did a few weeks ago and the outcomes that we identified. And also with that is a document about us looking at a possible school information officer. That would be a person that we would bring on possibly full time. And what I did is kind of outline some of the outstanding things that we've done in the last 2 years with our person that we have from Capital Region BOCES. She's with us 2 days a week. But if we are looking at communication as one of our main goals, then and you can take a look at what we're paying Capital Region BOCES versus paying somebody to have in-house. I just would appreciate some feedback on your thoughts on that. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Aaron. Moving to item number 6 is items the board would like pulled from tonight's agenda. Anything?
If I may, 11B, 11D, 11E, 12B. Nothing personal, just information. That's all.
Hold on, Bob has to give a presentation for treasurer's report discussion.
Yes, thank you. And it's really just a discussion more than a presentation. The one thing I wanted to go over, I have a new format for basically bank reconciliations. We're going to call it the treasurer's report. It's the same information, but I wanted to take a chance to just discuss this with you and outline. So hopefully it makes more sense to you people. I give it to you. We do a lot of work on it, but hopefully it gives you an opportunity to be able to read it and understand it. So the first page, there's a legend, colored legend page. And the one thing I want to highlight with that is we have a variety of different accounts. And I want to go, the green at the very top deals with our interest. How do we earn interest and what type of accounts do we have? So we have your basic money market checking account, which is where we actually do our daily business, which is earning the whopping 2% monthly simple compounded interest. May not sound like a lot. A few years ago, we were down to 0.15%. So we work with our bank and try to get that. But that's the least of our interest there. We have what are called sweep accounts. They are, for lack of a better understanding, money that the bank puts in a clearinghouse that is insured, FDIC insured. The reason it became about maybe 6 years ago, 5 years ago, it allows the bank not to have to collateralize the money. Somebody collateralizes the money for them. But those sweep accounts currently are earning 2.5%, but that interest is compounded daily. For the longest time, CDs stunk. Out of the blue last September, late September, calling around and speaking with Catskill Hudson Bank, and it happened in my own personal life with Chase also. All of a sudden, CDs became, wow, we'll give you something for CDs. So currently, we have a 4.6%, 3 or 4 CDs for 6 months. Maturity date, I believe, is in April. We'll see where those go, but that allows some serious interest to take place on those accounts. So money that had been in sweep accounts, we were able to move to CDs. So quickly, if you just go to the 2 pages of the report where we have funds and then reserves, and you look at the green, in the month of December, we earned approximately $64,000 in interest. If you look at the breakdown of those, the sweep accounts are where most of the money is, where the interest is earned. But that is substantial. $64,000 a month means something. If you take a look at that, though, some of the money is in our unrestricted money and some's in restricted. So when you look at the difference between if they're in a capital reserve or some sort of reserve fund, that money is not readily spent amongst our daily operations, but it does help us as we spend money out of the reserves. Is there any questions on the interest and where it comes from and how you could read this, or is it easy to figure out where it is on these reports?
I want to thank you for that.
Okay. Now comes the hard part. School districts do what's called fund accounting. Everything is run through funds. Capital fund, lunch fund, trust and agency, federal fund. So on this page, the very first page, got a couple different colors here. If you look at that page, and I'm terrible with what colors we're going to call this, but the first one, trust and agency, I'll call it a pinkish color. There's 2 bank accounts for the trust and agency. And what it is, the trust and agency portion of that is, I call this the simplistic explanation, the way it was explained to me. The staff trusts the district to take money out of their paycheck and then allows us to be the agent to put it to where they expect it to going. And most of those type of things are their retirement contributions, benefits, their taxes, payroll, and stuff like that. But that's the trust account. The payroll account is where we actually pay people. It's the rest of the money after we've deducted money out of their paychecks, we actually pay them. So that's why the trust and agency has 2 separate accounts, one for paying people, the money they earn, and the agency part of it where we're taking care of the deductions and then every payroll send money to their Omni contributions, wherever it might go. Next up is the general fund, which is the gray area on the left-hand side. That has 2 accounts. It's our money market account or our daily operations account, the A fund. These are all the A funds. So hope it doesn't get too confusing. And we have a sister account, a sweep account there. The property tax account is the clearinghouse or the account where the majority of our money enters. When New York State makes an aid payment, whether it be $172 or $973,000, that money gets wired directly into that account. In addition to that, when we collect taxes September, October, and in through November, every tax payment gets put into that account. So that's where the bulk of our money is. That's why that money is in a sweep account, because it earning 2.5% daily gets some pretty good interest. And I think you'll see in December that account alone earned over $26,000 in interest. Of course, there was $15 million. Theoretically, could we do CD? If we had known about CDs earlier, we might have played with some of that. But as we go through the school year, I have to move money from that account. This is where we spend all our money, in those 2 accounts. But we maximize our interest there. That's the property tax, between the property tax account and the sweep account. So what happens is the big money comes out of the sweep, goes to the property tax account, and then we move it to the general fund to spend it. Hence, the yellow areas are our general fund and our school lunch fund. Once again, the wonderful world of accounting, that's our multi-funds account. We only have 1 bank account for 2 funds. It's called the multi-fund account, but they are separate. And the general fund is where we pay our bills and really function out of there. So it is a little moving target. I just wanted to take an opportunity to give you an overview and try to make some sense of it in the layman's terms. And sometimes a little difficult because there's so many different funds moving. but I just wanted to give it to you, digest it. In the consent agenda, you'll be seeing the December report in black and white. And I appreciate any feedback, any further questions you might have, whether it be tonight or going down the road, to make this, make my report, our reports easier to understand so we can have good conversations.
Which fund is, I'm sorry, can we ask questions now? Which fund is the most flexible that you can,
Define flexible.
the one that you can put the most money in at one time and not have to use it? It can stay there the longest?
They all have a level of flexibility. Where most of the money that comes into our account, the money that's automatically put in and tax, that property tax account is the biggest. That's where most of our money is most of the year. And that's where we then move it into the general fund to expend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Thank you, Bob. Okay, moving to item number 6 is items the board would like to pull from tonight's agenda. Want to repeat them slowly, please?
11B, 11D, 11E, and 12B. Now,
Hold on.
oh, I'm sorry.
11, say it again slowly.
11B is in boy, 11D is in David, 11E is in Edward, and 12B is in boy. Nothing, maybe one of them you might want them, but I'm good talking about it. Nothing important that we go into executive session. I don't. So you be the judge. Thank you.
Say that again, Norma? All right. Okay. Can I have a motion to accept the consent agenda, categories 7 through 12, minus resolutions 11B is in boy, 11D is in David, 11E is in Edward, and 12 boy. Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Rose, second by Pat. Please proceed to vote.
Aye.
7 yea and 1 no. Be it resolved, upon the recommendation from the superintendent of schools, the board approves the consent agenda categories 7 through 12 minus resolution 11B, 11D, 11E, and 12B. Thank you. We'll take each one of those, and we'll do them separately. Start with 11B as in boy, is the administrative intern stipend for 2023 to 2024. It is an action. Can I have a motion to accept the administrative intern stipend 2023 to 2024?
Motion.
Motion by
Second.
Tim. Second. Second by Rose. Any discussion?
Yeah, I had the questions, that's why I wanted to pull.
You have a comment?
Yeah, past practice. I'm not looking to personality-wise. I'm just asking past practice. Can you explain that a little bit? The reason I ask is because when we do an intern, the way I understand it, and correct me if I'm wrong,
Mhm.
that they're a full-time individual here, correct?
Mhm.
And they're in salary.
Mhm.
So they're looking to increase their credits to go on to a more of a higher degree in terminology as in regards to the position.
Mhm.
So why they're doing less work in some of the areas that they're employed at, but we're paying them for being an intern. So how does that practice work? Just explain that if you would.
So this is my practice. I'm not familiar. I think the previous internships that took place were at different levels. Some were for a short term, some were for a longer term. My belief is that when we have an opportunity to grow our own to be administrators, that we want to take that. And so we have two exceptional people that are doing their administrative internship, and we've been able to give them a full year versus just meeting the minutes, because I want them to have the most authentic experience they can. It will only make them better as they enter into administration. This stipend is merely saying, we expect you here for evening events. We expect you here on weekends. And so if you break it down, it's $20 a day. So it's monetarily, it's about $500 or $400 a month, maybe around that. But what we're saying is that we need you here till 9 or 10 o'clock at a game or at an assembly. And so I want to reward them with an additional dollar because of the commitment they're making to us.
So it's just extra time. That's what they're spending out of well, I don't have a problem with
Yep.
that.
Yes.
Question I have there is as well as it starts now or starts beginning of when they started their internship?
It should have gone on in September. So that's my error that it wasn't part of when we appointed them in September.
So they're being paid now or they're paying from September to
So
check?
we will make it retroactive, yes, from
September.
September through June
Yeah,
30th.
I don't care for that. I mean, it should have been
Yes, it should have.
done. 11D.
We have to vote on this one. We're going to take each one individually and vote, okay?
Yay. Motion.
Please proceed to vote.
Yay. We had your hands.
It is unanimous. Be it resolved upon the recommendation from the superintendent of schools, the board approves the following administrative intern stipends for the 2023-2024 school year. Nicole Pringle, $5,000. Kevin Credelli, $5,000. Stipends are in effect September 1, 2023 through June 30th, 2024, and will be paid divided equally over 20 payroll periods. Okay, moving to item number 11D, it is resignations coaches. Can I have a motion to approve the resolution for the resignations of coaches? Motion by Pat, second by Rose. Any discussion?
The only discussion I have is, I know it's personal, but is there a reason? Do we have a problem there?
No, Mr. Crudelli is going to step down as the varsity coach so he can continue his internship. And he doesn't feel he can do his best if he's coaching and not able to attend other events because he's going to be committed to the coaching.
I know the athletes really liked him in that position. They enjoyed him.
For sure.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Anyone else? Please proceed to vote by hand. Is unanimous, Norma? Be it resolved upon the recommendation from the superintendent of schools, the board accepts the following coaching resignations dated and received February 26, 2024. A is Kevin Credelli, varsity baseball head coach. B is Chris Russo, varsity baseball assistant coach. Moving to item 11E, appointments coaches. Can I have a motion to accept the appointments coaches? Motion by Tammy, second by Tim. Any discussion?
I think we took care of that discussion from the previous one. Thank you.
Please proceed to vote by hand. Is unanimous, Norma? Be it resolved upon the recommendation from the superintendent of schools, the board appoints the following individuals as coaches for the 2023-2024 school year. A is Chris Russo, varsity baseball head coach. B is Randy Deal, varsity baseball assistant coach. C is Chris Russo Jr., modified baseball head coach. D is Fernando Costa, baseball/softball program unpaid volunteer. Moving to item number 12B is the memorandum of agreement for the Tri-Valley Central School District and the Tessa Union. Can I have a motion to accept the memorandum of agreement for the Tri-Valley and the Tessa? Motion by Pat,
Second.
second by Travis. Any discussion?
If I may, the only thing I'm inquiring about there is I'm not looking to take anything away from anybody. But my past practice years ago was anytime we had anything to do with a union issue, that was a contract issue and was discussed at that time. So I know we've had a number of these in the last, since I've been on the board. I just thought that, and I don't know what it entails, this one, but I thought it belongs in negotiating time. So that, I say that because I don't know what it entails.
Would you like an explanation? I can give you one for that.
If you feel comfortable in doing an open
Sure,
session.
sure, absolutely. So as we are navigating, and that would be the TESSA unit and the TVAA and the TVTA with the new superintendent, we are talking through a lot of things, trying to make decisions in the best interest of our students and our staff. And so what we've been working on is looking at better ways to navigate our sub shortage. And one of the things that we have done is if somebody has an appointment in the morning and it's at 8 o'clock in the morning, they have to take a half a day. So they don't come in till 11:30 when really they could go to the dentist and be back at work at 9 o'clock. So we're offering some customized flexibility when they take their time off, which has helped us tremendously with our sub shortage. So we can cover a class for an hour versus 3.5 hours. The other thing that in good faith we've been talking a lot about is when we delay school or we close school, you know, folks that have put in for that time off, we're recognizing that and we're giving them back some of that partial time. So it's really just our conversations about making our working environment the best it can be.
So it really has nothing to do with getting extra funds in any way then? It's
No,
just-
not at all.
I think that's a great idea,
Yeah.
but I had to bring it up because I
Sure.
didn't understand it, and I really believe probably the rest of the board didn't know what it was about. So please, I brought it up for that reason. for that reason alone.
Very good.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Please proceed to vote by hand. It is unanimous, Norma. Be it resolved upon the recommendation from the superintendent of schools, the board approves the memorandum of agreement between the Tri-Valley Central School District and the Tri-Valley Essential Support Staff Association, known as TESSA. Thank you. Moving to item number 13 is board committee reports. Anybody? Moving to item number 14, old business. I don't believe we have any old business tonight. Okay, moving to item number 15 is the public comment session for items that are not on tonight's agenda, and I have someone signed up. Mr. Steen Scully, please step up. You turn on that mic.
Okay, we're turned on. Well, first regarding the microphone and the sound, when you're watching from YouTube at home, you can't really hear anything. So there was Jim McCarthy, we couldn't hear what he was saying last board session. And it's also hard to hear Norma. It doesn't even pick up background noise. So is there a way to correct that so people watching from home can even hear Norma when she's speaking? Because it couldn't even, I mean, it didn't pick up anything. It's only if you turn the microphone on, and I don't know why that is. So maybe you can. So I do want to just follow up. I sent an email out on January 5th as a follow-up to a discussion I had with the principal. And I was wondering if I can get a call back. Karen, I did contact you and Keith as well. So I was, can I get a date on that? Like, when can I expect a meeting?
We can talk tonight about a time that's good for you
Okay.
next week. I'm booked up tomorrow pretty well, but
Yeah.
I know that Mrs. Eberly and I have been talking about trying to secure a date that we can sit down and talk with you.
Okay, all right, yeah, that would be great.
Is
please.
mornings better for you, or?
We could talk about it after.
Okay.
I mean, you know, I just wanted to follow up because I didn't get any email response from anyone.
Okay.
So, thank you.
Mhm.
The other thing is, I do want to follow up on that social media policy that I brought up February 17th, 2022. And I thought that maybe we've made some progress. I know you guys are busy and you're doing such great work, but it's like 2 years now. So a follow up on that as well.
We should be scheduling a policy committee, and we'll make sure that one's try and wrap it up.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, moving to item number 16, announcements, reminders, and upcoming events. Anybody? Okay. Hello, Matt. Come on up.
You were giving me the look, so I had no choice. So, hi everyone, Matt Haynes. I teach English here and PBTA president, proud president. But I'm talking to you tonight because we have a real special event going on tomorrow at the school. I've lived here 14 years now. Before I moved here, I didn't know anything about our reservoirs, so it was really fascinating for me to move here and learn all about the history of them. But sort of depressing when I ask my kids every year, how much do you know about the reservoirs? And most of them have zero clue why they're here, the purpose they serve. So years back, probably, I don't know, 8 or so years back, decided to do something about it. So we put it as part of our curriculum. Deb Sweat's a big help with me as well. I teach English, which sounds kind of weird, but it's really research skills, debate skills. And so these past couple of weeks, we've been learning all about the history of our local reservoirs, why they're here, the importance we play, certainly when it comes to New York City, the DEP being here, all that. And what we're doing is we're going back in time to the year 1900. We split our kids, our 8th grade students, into 4 stakeholder groups. So we have a fourth of the kids serving as Catskill residents at the time, a fourth as New York City residents, a fourth as New York City government officials, and a fourth as reservoir workers. And we're really debating whether or not the reservoir should be built. So they've looked at facts from their specific perspective, and they're going to have to argue that tomorrow. But what makes tomorrow really special is years back, both Deb and I formed a partnership with Columbia Secondary School, which is in New York City. So they are currently in Frost Valley on the trip, and tomorrow there'll be about 105 people coming to our school from Frost Valley. they've been learning the same curriculum we have. And so we're all going to be in the theater for a really huge debate / town hall. We'll have Dick Coombe there moderating it. Aaron, Frank, and Amanda are serving on the panel, as well as some other community members from around are serving on the panel. So they're going to have this big debate, get some feedback from the panel afterwards. The district is nice where they purchased lunch for us afterwards, so we get to sit down. The kids get to mingle and be kids with that. So we're really excited about it. We've been doing this for several years now, but honestly, Columbia has not visited since pre-COVID. We had it planned out for last year, and there was really threatening weather, so we had to make a decision. We decided to cancel. There was COVID. Then the year before that, it was like perfect weather, and they got here and the power went out, so we had to send everyone home. So that was a horrible year. So if something weird happens tomorrow here weather-wise, that's why. But we're confident it's going to go through, it's going to be a great event. So if you're able to stop by, we'll be in the theater from about 10:30 to 12:30. I think you'll be impressed by what you see. I'm happy to take any questions if anyone has them.
Mr. Haynes, thank you for the invite. I apologize for not getting back to you, but I probably would not be a good candidate at the moment to be on that type of committee, only because I'm very biased, and because we did have family displaced in the area, and it did have a lot of hardship from that. And but it's good that you educate the community and the kids, because I think that's very important of where Tri-Valley came from.
Thanks. Yeah.
Thank you.
And two things. One, you just admitted publicly that you do check your email, because that's the only way I contacted you. And two, I forgot
Got
to
'em.
mention, we also took a field trip to the Time and Values Museum last week, which the kids enjoyed, and Columbia Secondary School did that this week as well, so to learn more about it.
Now, wait a minute, you said something about emails? I don't know nothing about
It's
them.
the only way you would
I
have
have
known.
no idea. I don't do emails. I raised my hand. Thank you.
All right, thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you, Matt.
Okay, moving to item number 17 is new business. We have five items, A through E. And we're going to start with 17A is the resignation of board member James McCarthy. I have a motion to accept the resignation of board member James McCarthy.
Motion.
Motion by Brent,
Second.
second by Rose. Any discussion?
I'm sorry to take up so much time tonight on the speaker here, but being a senior member of the board in age, and being on the board previously, number one, the first thing is when we accepted a resignation before, it was in writing, not via email. So I would like to see it in writing from the individual. But also, I think I maybe could have stopped a little bit of that verbiage that we had after executive session. I think I could have toned it down a little bit in regards to the individual. I think the individual, the only problem I have is his delivery. And that's human nature. Not used to being on this type of board, a lot different than the real world. But I think if we could have had an executive session a little longer, I don't think we would have had the issue. I personally don't think we'd had the issue we had in open session. So I have to apologize somewhat for his outrage and his outspoken. But I would like to put it off until maybe the next meeting till we get something that's in writing from him instead of an email, out of respect for the board member. Thank you.
Anyone else? Please proceed to vote.
Nay.
6 yes, 2 no. Be resolved upon the recommendation from the superintendent of schools, the board accepts the emailed resignation letter from board member Mr. James McCarthy from his position on the Board of Education dated, received, and effective February 25th, 2024. Thank you. Moving to item number 17B is the annual legal notice for transportation requests to non-public schools. Can I have a motion to accept the annual legal notice for transportation requests to non-public schools?
Motion.
Motion
Second.
by Rose, second by Tim. Any discussion? Please proceed to vote. That is unanimous. Thank you. Be it resolved on the recommendation from the superintendent of schools, the board approves the following resolution. Attention, parents of non-public school students. In accordance with section 3635-2 of the education law, the Tri-Valley Central School District requires that requests for transportation to a non-public school for the 2024 to 2025 school year be received in writing no later than April 1, 2024. Tri-Valley residents should submit their requests to the district clerk, Tri-Valley Central School District, 34 Moore Hill Road, Grahamsville, New York, 12740, by order of the Board of Education. Thank you. Moving to item number 17C is the proposed academic calendar for 2024 to 2025. It is an action. Can I have a motion to accept the proposed academic calendar for 2024, 2025?
Motion.
Motion by George,
Second.
second by Travis. Any discussion?
I had a question. Erin, January 29th, that's Lunar New Year. So that's a new holiday. Are
Yes.
there any other holidays like Diwali? I know New York City, being a New York City employee, I've seen mention of that becoming one of our holidays. Is that a statewide thing? Is that coming down the pike to the state? Do you know?
So at my House of Delegates meeting, they said that it is coming down the pike along with the Jewish holidays, so that all districts in the state will be at some point following those. I think the concern then is that when you add additional holidays to our school calendar, which is already very tight to meet our criteria of 180 student days, we would have to look at extending our school year, either backing it up into August or into July. And I'm not sure how well that would be received across the state.
Anybody else? Okay. Please proceed to vote.
Aye.
That is unanimous. Thank you. Be it resolved upon the recommendation from the superintendent of schools, the board adopts the proposed academic calendar for the 2024 to 2025. Moving to item number 17D is the appointment of secondary school substitute teacher / teaching assistant / teacher aide for 2023 to 2024. It is an action. Can I have a motion to accept the appointment of the secondary school substitute teacher?
Motion.
Motion by George,
Second.
second by Rose. Any discussion? Please proceed to vote.
Aye.
That is unanimous. Thank you. Be it resolved upon the recommendation from the superintendent of schools, the board appoints Zachary Enickson to the position of secondary school substitute teacher / teaching assistant / teacher aide for 2023 to 2024, pending fingerprint clearance. Moving to item 17E is the property tax cap 2024 to 2025 adoption is in action. I have a motion to accept the property tax cap 2024 to 25 adoption. Motion by Tammy. Second by Rose. Any discussion?
What is the cap?
Three,
The calculation for the cap, 3.08%, which equates to $660,386. But that, we're just adopting the calculation. It has nothing to do with what the tax levy is going to be. Required to submit it to the state of New York, March 1st.
please proceed to vote.
Thank you. Yay.
It is unanimous. Thank you. Be it resolved upon the recommendation from the superintendent of schools, the board adopts the property tax cap for 2024 to 25. Okay, moving to item number 18 is board comment session. Brent, anything? Travis?
No, I have nothing tonight. I
George?
will send, 1 second. I will send that picture that was taken to everybody so you have it. Great job.
Thank you. George?
I'd like to congratulate our two students for salutatorian and valedictorian, Scott Cole and Abigail Metnish. They certainly make Tri-Valley proud. But do you ever think about coming and needing a job? We probably could use you. So think about Tri-Valley. Thank you. Again, all counties here. It's quite an event. It's a music festival. And we do have a lot of parents that do come. So if you're going to come, you come early and make sure you get a seat because you'll enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Tammy?
I'd like to extend my heartfelt condolences to the family of Mr. Valandi. I would also like to congratulate Abby and Scott on a job well done. I look forward to following your future success, and I wish you all the best in your college years. And I think you guys are going to definitely make your mark on the world. Congratulations to all the winter sport athletes for an amazing season. Sectionals and divisionals were just outstanding. It was amazing watching all the different sports. I couldn't make it to all the games in the different sports, but the athletes here are just absolutely amazing how much they put their heart and soul into their respective sports, and I look forward to the spring season. And thank you to all the coaches that have stepped up to guide these young athletes. And just final congratulations to the cast and crew of Big Fish School Edition. It was a great show, and it was very well put on. All the students should be proud of themselves.
Thank you, Tammy. Rose?
I'd like to put out a plug for the Cast Booster Club. They are still looking for volunteers for all county tomorrow night and Saturday. So if you're available, please go on Facebook and find the link and sign up. We look forward to seeing those performances. Abby and Scott, congratulations on your outstanding achievements. Those GPAs are impressive, especially when you add in your extracurriculars. And I know college might seem scary, but you'll both do amazing based on how well you've done here. Speaking of coaches, I know we have looked at the stipends previously and adjusted those. Is that something that we are looking to increase yearly, or how does that work?
So the stipends are in the current contract, which expires on June of 2025. Mr. Crudelli is looking at, we're doing some research around what our area coaches get. And that will be absolutely a conversation. I'm not sure if it will be sooner than when the contract needs to be renegotiated, but we absolutely see the discrepancy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rose. Tim?
Congratulations, Abby and Scott. You are now an elite company. There's some really impressive people that have come before you in those positions at the top, and I am sure you will both shine and make your families look good and make Tri-Valley look good. I know that. I mean, I don't know specifically because I was never one, but I know there's a massive commitment to get there. So, congratulations. Second, we had two sectional basketball games that were spoke about already. The community came out in a tremendous way. It was like an all-star lineup of history at Tri-Valley. We had coaches, we had old board members, we had old players from probably the last 60 years. Well, pretty cool to see. The gym was rocking like it was back in the 90s. So thank you everyone for that. And then I watched an Ellenville game the other night, and our kids played in Ellenville, and they have a broadcast class that they hold, and they have 3 students that broadcast, and they are hilarious, and they're really into it. I think it's a great opportunity. I would love to see our school explore it. I know we have a little broadcast studio, but I can tell you of all the game film that the kids watch, those are the games that they want to watch because these kids are always commenting, and it's all, it's on the level, it's appropriate, but it's funny, and the kids enjoy hearing their peers commentate and talk through a basketball game. So if we could look into that, I would appreciate it. That's all I got.
Just to reiterate, congratulations to Abby and Scott. You guys have truly done an amazing job. So I wish you well. Kind of touch on what Tim said about participation at the sectionals games. I noticed a lot of staff here Saturday night, especially. They were at the game. They made their way upstairs. To stay after is always hard, but to make your way all the way here if you're not a local community member means a lot to your commitment to the school. Speaks a lot to your commitment, I should say. It just, you're part of being a Tri-Valley Bear and you're supporting the kids, and I thought that was great. Saw community members at the play, staff in the pit band. I know Mr. Edwards was in the pit band helping the kids out. I know our band numbers aren't where they have been, not for lack of dedication from our music staff. Just people pitched in to help the kids make that production a success. So that was nice to see. So thank you.
Okay, moving to item number 19, adjournment. Can I have a motion to adjourn? Motion
Second.
by Pat, second by Rose. Please proceed to vote.
Aye.
That is unanimous. Thank you. Thank you for coming, everyone. Have a good night.